I'm Michelle from the Sterling Tribune, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual host. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 280-something, 84, I think, of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on Sunday, October 29th, 2017. As our chat room just put it, we're the Spinal Tap of podcasts.
I don't know how to take it. We get lost in the corridors?
We'll go with that.
Do I have... Kim Bach... Oh, Naki was our drummer. That's why she's not here.
Lily is our own personal 8-inch Stonehenge.
There you go. So
you might have noticed 8 inches. Thank you.
Oh no.
There's not enough curly hair for us to be the Spinal Tap of podcast.
That's
or
true.
Hair in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm apparently the only one here who can still grow on his head, but yeah, I can't grow that much.
Pretty sure our guest can. We'll get to that in a second. But hey, you guys might have noticed we don't have Naki here this week. She had some prior commitments she had to do, but don't worry. You still got myself, Chris. We also got one Anthony Bachman.
Hello.
Also, one Willie D. Nelson, the one and only.
I got 8 inches, apparently.
And then finally, joining us today, we do have a guest host, first time in a while. You guys have seen him in the chat room quite often. He helped us build the artwork for the logo that I just pointed out on my mic flag. You see him in the chat room as Clearance VG Rack. You've probably seen him on Twitter as @CloneFreak1. Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, guys.
He waggled his way into your hearts, and now he's waggling his way into your ears.
Oh. God damn it.
That's what he was waiting for? Jesus.
God damn it.
I'm here to add more diversity to this podcast by being another white guy.
We need our fourth white guy on the show.
Damn it, now how am I going to get my minority reports now?
Wait.
We need a non-bearded white guy. That's what we need.
That's what we got. You don't have a beard right now, right?
No, yeah, definitely.
There's
no.
our minority on the show. He's got no beard. The rest of us
He's our baby-faced white guy.
There you
Are you
go.
at least a little scraggly, at least?
No, I shaved yesterday. After 2 weeks of growth, I decided to shave. And...
Shame. There we go. You're good, Willie. You can talk about the baby-faced generation and get the baby-face's opinions. Problem solved.
Wait, am I no longer the younger one here? The youngest one?
I don't know.
I'm 31.
Yep, you're the youngest now.
Willie, you lost your crown.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure I'll be back next week.
Or will it?
I'll force Naki to do the show next week.
Or will it?
Oh, no.
That face, though.
So, bad puns aside, how's everything going this week, guys?
Stranger Things 2.
Did you finish it?
Oh, yeah.
So did I.
It's so good. It's so good.
So we were actually talking about earlier in the pre-show about Tiger Bomb on the genitals, right?
You had to bring that back.
Why did you bring that back?
No one was talking about that. People were trying to not talk about that as well.
All right, so Chris and Keith, you're actually young enough to go to high school the same time I went to high school, right?
Yes.
So you remember how homophobic people were back in high school, right?
Depending on where you were, yes.
Everyone would say, "Man, you're gay," and all that shit, right? I mean, they kind of still do that, but you know what I mean. I remember hearing stories about the baseball team tracking down the new kid or whoever the new person joining in, the rookie, and then putting, icy hot on his genitals.
Well, you just
right on the ball sack.
You put it in the jock, and then you have the jock of fire.
Oh no! In the bus, they held him down and put a big old glob right on his ball sack.
That sounds.
So one of them grabbed his balls.
Man, it's
so facto
sport
sure.
hazing, man. Weird stuff happens.
Corpus.
Yeah, there's your pseudo-closeted gay guy who became a Republican politician.
No politics.
Hates himself.
No politics.
This is our safe space, guys.
He spent in high school grabbing guys' dicks.
Balls.
Yeah, because you know exactly what he grabbed every time. Were you there? Did you watch?
No, I just heard the stories, and I was like, what are you guys doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think I was sophomore when I heard these stories.
What?
weird with you people.
Say they're pulling
Fucking
some stories
baseball
about double jock lock. I'm not sure I even want to know what that is.
So
I do.
there's a radio show I listen to, and they have a little bit called "Hey Lex and Terry, I need $20" or something like that. So they routinely torture their staff for $20 when they need it. The one they had to do, they heard from a Major League Baseball player. It was called the Jock of Fire, which was literally they put icy hot all over a jock strap and had to pull it on, and then
Ugh.
yeah, it
Shite.
sounds miserable to me. I don't think I would ever need $20 that bad, but I could be wrong.
I could tell you about the worst day I've ever had with some cream going on me.
You might need
No
to
thanks.
clarify what
No
you
thanks.
mean there.
My ex decided, hey, let's put some Nair on your back hair.
Oh, that sounds uncomfortable.
Worst decision ever.
How long did that burn for?
Oh my god, that chemical burn. Oh, it was so bad. I was like, in the shower now, get it off me, get it off me, get it off me. I don't even know how much. I'm guessing I felt like it burned all the hair and like a couple, like 3 layers of the top layer of skin.
Yikes.
Well, now that
Yeah,
Willie's
it's not
scared
good.
off all of our participants as we talk about his wild Nair attacks,
Well, I didn't put it on my genitals. Jesus.
please don't ever talk about your genitals again.
I know you people talk about it for me.
I have a button for it. I just don't know where it went. Oh, wait, here we go. We should probably, do actual show stuff instead of talk about Willie's dick. So you guys know what that means then. It means we do the news of the week.
There we go.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Good morning, everyone, and when you hear that sound bump, that means we're transitioning into the news of the week. It's that time in the show where we run down, at least what's in our minds, the most interesting, geeky, or nerdy stuff that has happened in the last week. And no, we don't go to some of the chat room debate I see, which is Nair versus an Epilady discussion. We're
What
not
is
doing
Epilady?
that. It's another hair
Same as-
removal tool, I believe.
It's another female torture device.
Tool?
Yes, it's battery powered, I think. And not what you're thinking.
For real, I didn't even think of that till you.
In fairness, Chris, you didn't even give him time to think it.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, he didn't give me 30 minutes, so.
Oh, I see what he did there. So, guys, this is the news of the week. Who would like to take their news first?
What? With a spring?
Yeah, it's bad news. It's bad news. Willie's mind is melting down as he figures
I
out
mean,
what it is.
I was thinking about, because I am lazy, I was thinking about using Nair on my head, because I hate shaving my whole head.
Ooh.
It takes a lot of time.
Pretty sure that would be a bad idea.
And they also say don't do it on the bottle, but fuck the rules. I might try it one day on air.
Oh, jeez.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna do it, you have to do it live on camera, right?
I know. I mean, if I'm going to be
If he's
stupid,
gonna dare his head, we should get some views for it.
We're
Come
going to
on.
need a
know.
cameraman that can go with you as you're screaming because your head hurts and you put your head underwater.
I mean, I might be pantless too. I mean, again,
Oh, this is
like
a
I am
problem
now.
then.
He'll have to do it one of those days where there's somebody randomly walking through the background to his kitchen, so that way he's got camera help.
Hopefully, they have clothes on this time.
If they're behind the camera, it don't matter.
Well, I mean, Willie, how are they going to know? Oh, if they do, never mind. I thought you meant yourself. I was going to say, how are we going to know you have a fur sweater?
Oh shoot! I forgot my cigarettes. Hold on 1 second.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Pants are never an option, kids.
Welcome.
Oh
to-
shit! That sounded really weird. I'm gonna take back the kids part.
Yeah. So,
That
Willie,
11,
why don't you
23.
distract from that comment by telling us your news of the week?
Da-da-da-da-da. Well, remember how Microsoft really shot themselves in the foot and fucked themselves over when they originally debuted the Xbox One? About
Explain
saying,
how
hey,
you mean, because there could be.
Don't
look at all
ways.
this entertainment stuff we're showing you. No games. Let's show you ESPN TV on your Xbox One, where every system comes with a Kinect. You remember that?
I do.
I
Yeah.
do. Yes.
Yeah, remember how they backtracked all of it pretty much? Yeah, well, they're also stopping production of all Kinects. They're no longer making it. So what originally every Xbox One had to come with, because you had to have one for it to work originally, is now just being thrown out the window.
It shouldn't surprise anyone, though. I mean, let me let me fully disclose here. Xbox One owner. I bought one. I have a Kinect. I've disconnected my Kinect about 2 years ago and haven't touched it. All it was used for was logging in and issuing voice commands. There's no games for it, really. There's a few things where you can talk to it. Go ahead.
Fine, go on. Go ahead. I got something to say for it after your point.
There's a few interesting plugins where you can talk to it. There was a few Kinect games, specific games that were interesting. But another thing to realize is this writing's been on the wall. When the Xbox One S was announced, remember, there was no Kinect dedicated port on the back of it. So you had to write to Microsoft and get your adapter kit for free for like the first 6 months it was out. That took up 2 USB ports on the back of the Xbox One S. And now, in my case, if I wanted to plug my Kinect into the Xbox One X when it comes out next week to use the voice control and things like that, you have to pay $60 for this adapter kit for the Kinect. You don't get it for free anymore. So the writing has been on the walls for like a year and a half at least.
Wow.
You can argue it's been on the walls since they started selling versions of the Xbox One without the Kinect.
That's the dumbest thing ever. Why would you do that? I mean, you already have it, the plug-in for it, like, and you took it out for what reason? You were pushing for this thing so hard.
But you got to remember, there was a complete leadership change in the Xbox team about a year before the Xbox One S came out. And that's when they made the decision of, we started the Xbox One off on the wrong foot, trying to focus on being the center of the entertainment hub and connect for everything. That's not the right stance. We need to go back to being a gaming console that does some other things. And you can see how the Xbox world has evolved since then, how they've made a point of saying backwards compatibility for 360, we're doing it. Backwards compatibility for the OG Xbox, we're doing that for some games. There's been a concentrated effort to kind of change the path of things and to fix the missteps that was the initial launch and the Kinect, you could argue.
But why take away functionality? That's what I understand. It's a fucking port.
But
it's just a port. How much could a port cost?
It's not the cost of the port. It's the size of the port and what that cost in engineering terms and in being able to fit things into the smaller form factor they're trying to do.
Well, I don't know the size of the Xbox One S, which is a dumb fucking name anyway, but the original Xbox One was a VCR, pretty much an 80s VCR shape. So I don't understand. Is it smaller?
Yeah, it's much smaller. It's much smaller.
How much smaller?
Well, I could go and put two side by side. I have both in my house, but
is it like the size of a Wii?
Well, it's not quite that small, but it's it's equivalent to the PS4 Slim, roughly. I think is what I think would be a good.
Okay, so it's
comparison.
like from the PS4 to the PS4 Slim, or it's about the size of a PS4 Slim.
About the size of that, I think. Now,
okay.
In the chat room, also, I see that we have props_G13 who also mentioned with the new Xbox OS, instead of having to use Kinect Camera for live streaming and voice, you can now plug in any USB webcam too. So they've pretty much replaced all uses for the Kinect in the Xbox now. That's why they're shutting it down, because developers aren't making games for it, and most people, if they have them, have just removed them. I could have had it plugged in. I unplugged it before I sold my original Xbox. It's like, I'm not using it for anything.
So now they're just fully backtracking everything they did at that original unveiling. Well, you have to have a Kinect. Oh shit! Well, you don't even have to have.
You haven't had to have a Kinect for years, though.
You can't. No, you didn't. Oh yeah, wait. You didn't have to have it. You needed a day one patch for the system, an update to the system for it to work. So if you didn't have internet and you wanted to buy an Xbox One, you're just shit out of luck.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem with most consoles nowadays. Is any console you buy has a day one patch. It seems like my Switch had a day one patch. My Xbox day one patch. I bet your PS4 day one patch.
Don't even remember, but probably. But here's the worst thing about the Kinect. What the Kinect did for the Xbox. The smartest, the grandest thing Microsoft ever did was they bought a company. Do you remember what company they bought?
Rare?
It's the same one that the iPhone that Apple just procured to do the iPhone X camera stuff later. RealSense, wasn't it?
Rare.
Oh,
no, Rare.
Sorry.
I mean, because come on, what was the best N64 game? If you don't say Conker's Bad Fur Day, you're just objectively wrong.
No, it's called GoldenEye, which is also by Rare.
I'm still saying Conker's Bad Fur Day was better. Go back and try and play GoldenEye. It doesn't hold up.
It has not quite aged well.
I mean, look at the humor in that fucking game. Awesome, dude. Oh, you get the bounce on big-titted flower. How
Hey-
awesome is
Hey,
that?
Willie, you know where I play that game? I play that game on my Xbox.
Yeah. Oh well, you can with the what? But I heard that was it called Live and Reloaded? Was that what it's called? The new one?
I
That
can't
when they
remember.
re-updated it. Yeah, that also heard bad things about that one. I was like, but I mean, I would like to play it, but never had a chance. But the worst thing they did was they pretty much said, "Hey, Rare, we're making you make Connect games, so go make Connect games." And you know how great they came out? They came out shitty. Thank you, Microsoft, for fucking up one of the greatest companies, video game companies.
Hey, I'm not disputing the fact that the Kinect inclusion was a bad idea. In fact, if you go back and listen to the episodes of this podcast that came out about that same time, I'm pretty sure I said this is kind of a dumb idea to bundle these two together. Now, I probably had my fanboy hat on and said I can see where it'd be interesting to use it for certain things, but meh.
Now, I use the PlayStation camera because I have to with the VR.
Right.
I mean, sometimes when I'm walking away from my controller in the kitchen and I just start it up, I'm like, oh wait, I need to get in there. Hey, PlayStation, user 1, thank you.
I mean, I certainly felt like a dope when I bought my Xbox One with the Kinect. You know, it's just like, why does this thing have to come with this, and why does it add like $100 to the price of the stupid console?
That was the biggest problem, was the $100 extra for an Xbox versus a PlayStation.
Yeah. The only reason why I bought the Xbox because at the time the PlayStation 4 didn't have as many games out. So I'm just like, well, you know, and I regret it, but
Thank you.
That was Keith's whole argument. That was the entire argument. Well, you know.
that was me in GameStop.
Yeah. I'll be honest, the reason I got my Xbox is because I wanted to continue playing games like Halo and things like that were exclusive to it. And I said, you know what? If I really, really want something for a PlayStation 4, maybe I consider buying one used one day, or I'll just go over to Buddy's house and play. And I'm living to regret those words because Spider-Man for PS4 comes out in the next year, and it super tempts me.
Oh yeah, you know you're gonna be getting one when it
Man,
comes out. You're
I tell you what, I keep an eye on the Facebook Marketplace in my area because I live in a college town. So around the end of the college year, when everyone's leaving and they got to pay for all their debt that they've accrued in unpaid parking tickets and things like that, you start seeing people selling things on there. And I almost pulled the trigger just about a week ago on a PS4. They're like $150. And I went, oh, it's got to be stolen for that price. There's absolutely no way.
It might be my old one.
Yeah, it could be Willie's old Xbox.
Hey, go see. You could have bought Willie's. It would have been awesome.
You could have bought what?
Willie's.
Willie's Willie? Is that what you just said?
No, so Willie's PlayStation.
No, you said Willie's Willie or Willie's Willies. I don't have multiples, but it is 8 inches. Thank you, Keith.
We
Or is that
were
Bachman? I can't remember who said it.
It was Bachman.
Thank you, Bachman.
Yeah, you don't have 8 inches, Willie. You're 8 inches tall.
Thank you. From the ground?
From the top of your head to the bottom of your toes.
From oh, I can't sing. God damn it! I was gonna
Don't
sing.
sing.
Some weird science. I was gonna sing some weird
sing it.
science. Why don't people fucking understand?
So we've got an
Weird.
interesting conversation going on in the chat room right now. I see that we had Props was mentioning that the OS is kind of basic on the PlayStation compared to that. And Sailor Poland brings up a good point. He goes, it doesn't really matter on OS. It's all about the games. And for him, the PS4 lineup doesn't have much that excites him. I'll be honest. There's a lot more exclusives in the PlayStation lineup.
Thank
And
you.
some of those exclusives do interest me. The difference you have with Microsoft, and we all saw this at the E3 event, was that everything that was a Xbox exclusive was technically an Xbox/PC exclusive because they're really pushing their games anywhere initiative.
I'm gonna say
which
right now,
means
one
they
of
won't really have exclusives anymore.
the greatest games that's come out this year has to be Horizon Zero Dawn. It got swallowed up because it kind of this playstyle is similar to Breath of the Wild, but it got swallowed up by that game because it came out around the same time. But it is one of the greatest games of this year.
I've heard very
That's-
good things about it. There's so many damn good games that have come out this year.
And
That
I'm
one's
sorry,
Sora
Sailor Poland.
Transformer Hunter, right?
with robots, robot dinosaurs. Yeah, that was great. Sorry, Sailor Poland, but the Order 1886 is actually not that bad of a game. The biggest problem with it is it's short as hell.
Yeah, 2 hours of gameplay or something like that.
No, it's about like 5 to 6 hours, but it still looks amazing to this day. It is like one of the most beautiful games, but it is short as hell. But it is a fun game to play. I mean, it's cheap as hell now too. If you can get it for like the $5 when they put it on sale now, get it. It's worth the $5, and like I'd say it's even more like up 20, but just because of the length. But it is a great game.
And there's way too many good games out there right now. That's the problem, and what a problem to have, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Order 1887. It'll never happen.
Yeah, that game got panned so bad, man, that they probably wouldn't make another one of those.
And the length is the only real problem of it. There's no other real problems with the game. The story was good. The graphics are great. The controls work well. I mean, the weapons were new and unique.
So before we move on to our next topic, let's go to a chat room question. The Draftsman saying, "How is Cuphead? I've heard good, but like classic NES hard." That's probably a fair apt description for it. What do you think, Keith? I know you've played it.
It's good. You have to play it by yourself. I've been trying to play it with Naki and like all my friends, and it's just like you'll have one good run, but the other person also has to have a good run. So you just end up playing it way too much. It's super fucking hard.
Oh,
Well, is it like Battletoads? Please don't tell me there's actual friendly fire.
No, there's not friendly fire.
Oh, thank
that
God.
would make that game impossible. There'd be no playing co-op at all.
You just stand there, don't fire your gun, and get out of the way of my bullets.
What
I
was
burned out on it. Go
What was it
ahead.
I saw? I think it was the Honest trailer they did for it, and I haven't gone to check to see if this is true yet, but supposedly if you can beat Cuphead without firing a shot, which I'm not sure how this works, that unlocks a black and white mode for it.
I mean,
I imagine you have to play with two people.
You can do that without doing that. You can just get a black and white CRT TV and plug it in.
There you go.
That's true.
I seen someone play like an old 80s TV. So why not?
Sailor Poland has advice for you on Cuphead. He says, just get good.
yeah.
Fuck you. Not really, but
Wow, that was
fuck you.
So evidently we're going gaming heavy today. I'm going to go next with my gaming story here. And if you guys didn't realize, Friday was kind of a big day for games. There were 3 games that dropped on Friday all at the same time. Super Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, Shadow of the Colossus, I believe it is, and then Assassin's Creed Origins. So I picked up Mario, but I've been intrigued by Wolfenstein. And one of the things that had me intrigued by that is there was an article I read earlier this week where the Wolfenstein developers had said basically, we don't have multiplayer because that dilutes our storytelling. And why this is kind of important is if you go and look, there's a former employee of BioWare by the name of Manveer here. I probably mispronounced his name, I apologize, who did an interview this week basically saying that Electronic Arts is prioritizing open world games because they're easier to monetize and can go on indefinitely. Basically, they can microtransaction the shit out of you. So where this gets interesting is game industry interviewed Tommy Bjork, who is heading up the studio doing Wolfenstein 2, and said they're not cramming in multiplayer because it detracts too much from the story. According to him, he said, the only way we can create these super immersive narrative experiences is if we can focus solely on the single player. Having a multiplayer component in this work process would just dilute it all. That's the danger if you try to do 2 things at once. So let me just sit here and say, show of applause right there. That is the problem with so many games today, especially these shooters, is you get a crappy single player campaign, so then they can drop in a multiplayer in there where they microtransaction you to death. Be like, you can buy an ammo drop for 80 in-game credits that'll take you 60 hours to accrue, or just pay us $5 and we'll give you 500 credits.
For an ammo drop?
I'm just pulling something out of my ass here, Willie.
Please don't do that on air.
Well, not literally, but
You triggered Willie there for a second. He's just like, what?
It brings me back to Richard Gere flashbacks. Not the gerbil.
Oh.
Not the gerbil. Or was it a hamster? Either way,
I think it was
all
a
the same
gerbil,
creature.
but I don't remember. So this is the kind of thing I like to see from folks like this that put together what is arguably an immersive, very good single-player game. I've watched some reviews on YouTube of the new Wolfenstein, and they've been fairly complimentary. The game looks pretty. It looks like it's a fun continuation of what happened in the first Wolfenstein game, which rebooted the entire franchise. And this kind of makes me smile. It's kind of a step back to old school gaming where multiplayer used to be you handed a second controller to your buddy who's sitting on the couch with you and you guys played together, not you go online and fight a bunch of people and listen to people call you an asshole over an Xbox Live microphone.
Yeah. Yes. Why are so many games starting to use it? I mean,
Because they make money.
Can you blame Overwatch for this? Because wasn't that like the first one that really pushed for it?
But no, there's been other things that have been doing. Like you go back and you look at some of the Call of Duty games that you could purchase ammo drops and things like that. You look at I think
Crates, like you bought crates for like better weapons.
I mentioned at the top of this the interview with the guy from BioWare who said EA is prioritizing that. Remember, Mass Effect 3 added a multiplayer, and everyone was like, "This is a terrible idea." The multiplayer was actually good, but the thing they realized is, oh, we can get people to pay in-game credits because it unlocks more content in multiplayer or gives them more packs that drop in multiplayer. So they started seeing, at least EA in that case, of we take something that's this great single-player immersive story, tack a multiplayer onto it, and then we can make a bunch of money.
There's actually one of them that I actually don't mind because you can make money off of it, and that's Counter-Strike. Because you can sell the shit you get if you get a really rare thing. You can sell it for real-life money. Fuck yeah. People are dumb enough to buy it.
So, and there are some differences where I don't mind like the pay-to-play model. Like if I get a free game, like Fortnite, it's going to be a free game when the non-player unknown Battleground ripoff version of it comes out. You can play it for free, and then you can unlock additional content with money. That I'm okay with because I'm not paying my initial $60 and then paying more and more money on top of it to basically win and make myself better. That's one of the differences to me. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just overly liking the fact that these guys basically said, yeah, F your multiplayer. We just want to make a good story and something that's really fun.
Well, you know what the best game that is multiplayer, online only, pretty much, because you have to have internet to play it. It's co-op, it's couch co-op, and you can use it over the internet when you stream. That's the Jackbox Party Pack games.
That is true. They are fun.
Jackbox Party Pack 4 out now.
Have you played it?
I got it day one and had friends come over and play it. Of course, it is all fun. Well, I mean, one of them is kind of a little, but they're oh my god, there's so many fun ones. This Civic Duty, the new drawing one, we had so much fun with that.
I didn't even know about this. You son of a bitch.
You just didn't spend money.
Oh, and it came out first on PS4. You had to wait like 2 or 3 days for the Xbox version.
Okay, so it's a very, very short timed exclusive. That doesn't mean much. And
I'm not sure if they did. I think they did for some reason. It's not like saying it's a timed exclusive. I think they just like when they released it.
It's not like the bullshit exclusives they're doing with Destiny, where there's some stuff you can only get on the PlayStation that literally just unlocked on the Xbox right before Destiny 2 came out. That kind of
fuck Destiny. This is a boring game is boring.
It's not my cup of tea, but that being said, I'm probably going to try playing a game that's similar to it called Anthem when that comes out, because BioWare has one last chance not to break my heart.
I mean, it pretty much uses the like the Borderlands model where, hey, you need to get better weapons. Hey, you need to get better weapons. Hey, better weapons.
Which,
yeah, except you're building mechs, which is awesome.
No, I'm talking about Destiny.
Yeah.
Borderlands is still one of my favorite series. I can't wait for Borderlands 3 to come out, and I will continue to keep my fingers crossed. Maybe one day we'll get cross-play on that so that we could all play Borderlands 3 together, but I don't think it's going to happen.
If I get my Xbox for Anthem, then I may just have to buy Borderlands 3 on the Xbox so I can play with you and Naki.
That's fair. Just leave me out. I understand.
Yep. You should get an Xbox with us.
I'm not going to pay for internet 3 times.
Yeah.
How are you paying for internet 3 times?
I would pay for it for the original just to have internet, for the PS4, and for the Xbox One.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I understand that. You mean for using Xbox Live and PlayStation Network on top of the cost of the internet.
Yeah, that's all you have to pay to use the internet for it.
Yes. At least to play games online and things like that.
Is the Switch still free to play online?
It is until they push out their network crap, which was supposedly going to be holiday this year. It's supposed to be $20 a year. We haven't
Is
heard
it gonna-
anything on that lately.
Is it going to cancel out what they're already having for free, or is it just like going to have added features?
So, for instance, like if you want to play Splatoon 2 online, you have to have the Nintendo Online service, which the difference is $20 a year. It's kind of a drop in the bucket compared to what the costs are on the other ones, unless you catch them on sale. Like traditionally, Xbox Live is $60 a year unless you catch a sale. I generally buy my cards when they're on sale for like $40 a year. So it's not terrible, but the problem is, and we've said it before, Nintendo doesn't get online. They don't understand it.
Yeah, they really don't fucking understand it.
They just know how to make really good video games and like how to manufacture them. They have no idea, but they just, they know how to make good games, and that's okay.
Yes, I mean, look at Nintendo. They basically just shot themselves in the foot for Game of the Year because Zelda Breath of the Wild that was coming out was probably going to win Game of the Year, and they went, oh, let's drop Mario, which is arguably just as good, if not better. So now they're like, oh, we just beat ourselves for Game of the Year.
That's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, no, really.
Are you serious? It's Mario. Who cares?
Have you played the new Mario, Willie? It's actually really fun.
I played a 3D Mario game. Aren't they all just pretty much the same thing?
It's probably the best one since Mario 64.
What Mario Sunshine was actually pretty damn fun. What's wrong with you?
And to answer your question, Willie, millions of people care. That's why they keep making Mario games.
Yeah.
This game's going to make bank.
Dumbass kids.
How are they dumbass kids? You should like this. This ties into nostalgia. This is something from our childhood that has lived on into the 2017 time era.
I guess I was never like that fun into platformers. Like
Okay,
they're
that's
like
fair.
whatever. I mean, they're fun. I'll give them that, but I mean, it's just not my cup of tea. I'm not gonna badmouth them saying they're the worst thing. It was just not for me.
Now, I will say I'm sort of similar in the fact that platformers aren't my end-all be-all. I enjoy playing them. They're fun, but
If I had to give up every other type of game and just keep Ratchet and Clank, I would just keep Ratchet and Clank. Mario
Also-
led to the best platformer ever because those two guys are awesome.
Hold on a second, Sailor Poland. I thought they literally said in Mario Sunshine that Peach was not Bowser Jr.'s mom. Like at the end, he's like, "She's not really my mom, is she?" He's like, "No, son." I thought that's what it said. Someone back me up on this.
I don't know. I played Super Mario Sunshine in college, and I don't remember how it ended because there was
And you
way
can
too
call
much other
yourself a
stuff.
Mario fan.
I
Yeah,
said
I
I
played
enjoy
that one.
Mario. I don't consider myself a Mario fan first and foremost.
I don't think this is the type of show to get into Mario canon, by the way. There's other people on the internet that have covered this.
Yes.
But that does also bring up another point. Imagine Bowser and Peach having sex,
No.
Let's not.
Really?
and then you get Bowser Jr.
There you go. That's for you.
Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. We have to get off this topic now. Who wants to go next?
You're welcome. But at the
I guess I can do mine.
All right.
For those that aren't aware, one quick piece. You see the little cool sticker on my sketchbook I've been using this year,
yes,
and I got my cool little stickers on the back of my Chromebook. Where are they at? Those two short little guys. The Scoldgers are returning. Justin Prime is relaunching Scoldger 2 on Kickstarter on November 1st. So it's going up this week, and then we're going to try to see if we can have them on next weekend to talk about the Kickstarter. I got to read a preview of it, and it is another fun issue of the comic. More super violence, more he added in a crazy alien character and another character who acts more like an alien. Real fun story, another cool read. The first one was all set to the Jabberwocky poem from Alice in Wonderland. This one is more of a standardized comic book, so it actually has word balloons and people talking more than the first one was kind of playing to the poem. So this one has more of a standard narrative, but another really cool book. So I'm excited for that to come out on the 1st. And then we got some more casting news, and we might have the first actual cross main universe actor to be in both the MCU and the DCEU. Zachary Levi has been cast as Shazam. For those that don't know, he is Chuck from Chuck, and he was also Vandrel from the last Thor film. And apparently he's Vandrel, I believe, in the new Thor film in Ragnarok. Yeah, he showed up as Vandrel in that too.
Which one's Vandrel?
He's the guy with
Man.
the blonde mustache. Yeah, real
Oh, so
suave
he's one
and
of the
charming.
three.
Yeah,
What they call the Warriors 3.
Yeah, the Warriors 3. He's the blonde with the mustache that uses a rapier. So yeah, he wasn't in the first movie. Rapier.
I'm a kid.
Uh-huh. But yeah, so he has been cast, put out a thing on his Instagram saying that he was honored and greatly humbled to be part of the DC universe, bringing the original Captain Marvel to life. And then, of course, the best part, he said, I'm beside myself with gratitude, not only for this opportunity, but also the incredible outpouring of love and support from the many of you out there in the world. Now, if you excuse me, I'll be in the gym for the rest of forever. Because for those that don't know, Zach Levi is like 6'3" or 6'4", but he's a rail. Like, he's super skinny. And through the majority of the history, Shazam or Captain Marvel has been drawn as a giant beefcake of a dude. Like, he's usually Superman size or bigger, depending on the artist.
Yeah, one thing to consider is his evil analog, Black Adam, is The Rock.
The Rock. Yeah.
There you get an idea.
So, yeah, we should be getting Zach Levi fighting The Rock, which, one, tells you how great of actors these guys are, because they're going to try to make that fight believable. And The Rock is especially a great actor because he's going to make that fight believable when we all know he could just eat Zach Levi for lunch if he felt like it.
Well, hold on a second. I thought, wasn't there news that that Black Adam's not even going to be in the Shazam movie?
If we believe that news.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. All of it's up in the air. So, this casting news does seem to be official, but it's one of those things. It's like, well, they've made so many changes to the DC films before they've come out. Like, Flash has changed directors like 3 times. They've had movies come and go off the schedule that they've changed. Shazam seems to be one that they've stuck with. It seems to be constant that they are doing it, but also, we haven't seen it, haven't heard anything about a script yet. We have no date for when they're going to start filming. So, it's definitely something where it's still up in the air. But supposedly, Shazam's going to come out April 5th, 2019. So they've got, just under 2 years to get everything figured out. But I don't know. It's Shazam's supposed to be the big blue cheese. He's like the ultimate. He's a little kid who turns into a magic version of Superman, basically. So he has all the powers, but he's also a kid at heart. I think Zach Levi can nail the big cheesy part. It's just going to be a question of if he can get in big enough shape to where they can put a suit on him to also make him look even bigger, so that they can make him look more of the magic, the changing magic superhero type character. But for character wise, I think they got the right actor. It's going to be a question of what they make him look like. And I guess there was some people talking trash about it instantly because, of course, it's the internet and that's what it does. And one of the best examples somebody put up, they're like, everybody's talking shit about a comedic actor turning into a superhero needs to watch some old Chris Evans movies. And remember that he was in, what was it? It was the knockoff Not Another Teen movie where he played the Ali Larder role from Friday Night or from Varsity Blues where he did himself in a whipped cream bikini. So, yeah, Chris Evans started off doing some comedy movies and then he was also, he went from being the Human Torch to being Captain America and got huge. And he's Cap.
Look at Chris Pratt. Look how he transformed himself to become Star-Lord.
He just stopped drinking beer.
Yeah, he stopped drinking beer and worked out a ton. But, he was not very fit in Parks and Rec, and he's even said as much. And look what he turned himself into with a bunch of time, the right diet, working out, and the fact that Hollywood's basically like, here, we need you to do this, come on.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, if the option is, a huge guy that then have to try to get him to play like he's a big, nerdy, smart kid, or a actor who is basically a big, nerdy, nice, smart kid, and he's going to try to get big, I think they went the right route. Because trying to get someone to have a good personality is not always teachable.
It's the same thing they did with Star-Lord, where they said, hey, they interviewed Chris Pratt for it, and he did his reading. They went, man, we could have a chubby Star-Lord. This guy's so good, we need to have him. They said, this is the person that has the right screen presence, that portrays the character the correct way to be what we're envisioning. And with time, money, and the studio kind of providing all of that, they can get someone into the right shape to do it. Because let's be honest, do you really think that the DC folks aren't really hooking Zach Levi up with the right trainer to fit into things? That trainer's not putting him on the right diet to build out properly. Come on. It's a machine putting people together like that.
But yeah, I think the only difference is that when you look at Star-Lord, there were very few people that knew who that was. Captain Marvel is a much bigger deal because Shazam has been around since the 1940s. This is one of the oldest characters in comics, and he is, very, very much an OG. Like, it goes back to Fawcett days. Like, Captain Marvel's been around for a long damn time. A lot of Superman was based on stuff they did in the Captain Marvel comics.
So I would agree with you when it comes to comic fans knowing who he is, but let's go and talk to random Joe Blow on the street, and let's then time travel and go back to that same Joe Blow 5 years ago. He's not going to know who Star-Lord is. He's not going to know who Shazam or Captain Marvel is either, I bet.
I think that Joe Blow would have a better chance of knowing who Captain Marvel is than Star-Lord. There was a TV series. There was a cartoon series. He was in the Justice League cartoons.
Oh, that's right. He was in Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League Unlimited. When they added Unlimited, Captain Marvel showed up. It wasn't like he was a huge part of it, but he was definitely there.
Yeah, but he actually had a couple really good arcs in there. There was the one where he actually fought Superman and kept blasting him with the Shazam magic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a character that it's definitely, I'm just saying it's more well known.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody knows. He's not Batman, but it's definitely a character that's got a lot bigger following. There are people that are, Captain Marvel lifelong fans. So, it's another big risk, but I don't know. It's one of those ones where I think they picked the right guy because you can put anybody in the gym. And it's going to be weird because he'll be the first actor to be an actual, main hero in both universes.
Let's get The Rock to do it next.
So, okay, so then who's The Rock going to play over Marvel?
I don't care as long as he's someone in Marvel too.
That's true. Yeah, The Rock needs to do more superhero movies instead of just being a superhero in his movies.
Real quick, Dressman did say Billy Batson was also in Young Justice. So, okay. I withdraw my point to an extent. And Keith, you were saying something, but I think we cut you off. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I said in the chat, I don't think Chris Pratt was told to work out. I think he did it because he's just crazy like that. Because Chris Pratt is awesome. I like Chris Pratt.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, and Gunn probably would have let him play Star-Lord chunky and just been like, an awesome actor. Let's go with it.
I think the only thing is he read the one scene where he had to have his shirt off when they
delousing.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh man, I got to work out." He's a guy that I want to hate, but I can't because he's just so good.
Which is funny because in the same movie you have what was at the time the sexiest man alive was technically in that scene, but it was only his voice because Rocket got deloused and he's all CGI. So that motherfucker got off easy. He didn't have to do nothing. He just sat in a booth in his sweatpants, talking into a microphone.
And in the chat room, we did have a suggestion for what role The Rock could have in the Marvel Universe. The new Blade. Or the Son of Blade.
The Son of Blade? Well, as the new Blade. Wow. That would... I mean, even Wesley Snipes is kind of a big guy. If the Rock was Blade, like it'd be a version of Blade where he doesn't use knives or silver stakes. He just grabs vampires and just rips them in half with his bare hands.
Yeah, he just uses his fists.
I can see how that would go. The movie starts up and he just, The Rock looked in the camera and said, "Yeah, I already fucking killed him. I don't know what this movie's for."
It's an hour and 30 minutes of him having a picnic in the sunshine at a park. He's like, I already killed all the vampires.
Would a motorcycle be able to hold like The Rock? Would they need to get him like on an ATV or something?
I guess there's a motorcycle sequence in Jumanji that's coming up that I saw him filming that he shared on his Instagram. So at least if you make it more sturdy, there are bikes that can hold him.
So what I'm hearing here is we all need to go and watch Jumanji and then report back whether The Rock could be Blade on a motorcycle.
I see things I like about the movie and things I don't like.
Hey, I got Movie Pass. I'll go see it.
There you go.
I mean, I'm probably still going to see it because, there is some things I will like about it, but some things I don't already.
Willie's like, The Rock's in it, so I'll like that.
What else?
The fact that Jack Black's going to be playing a 15-year-old high school girl, like that just sounds fucking hilarious.
A 15-year-old stuck-up high school girl.
Yeah, stuck-up, pretty girl. Like,
no, there's a stick up her ass because she's a fucking bitch in the movie, apparently.
The fact that that's who Jack Black gets to play, that alone, I think, will be funny enough to be worth the ticket price.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me restate that. The character has bitchy tendencies. There we go. You can't deny that.
Well, no, that's their character.
Exactly.
So that works. Hey, Keith, what do you got for us for news?
I don't know. It's getting kind of late, but I don't. And my news is kind of more of a discussion thing, but I guess I'll hit it. So I mean, we've had the YouTube apocalypse going on, and
Wait, what?
well, there's a thing that happened recently where YouTube has an algorithm that goes through like videos and deems them worthy of having ads on them because they had a lot of, they had basically an alt-right group making money off of their like very hateful videos, and so Google basically said, well, we're just gonna hit down hard on everybody because that's how you respond to something like that.
Well, I mean, imagine if they singled just those people out, how much outcry they would have.
Oh yeah, man, because those people definitely should have rights and stuff like that. But let's not get into
I know I watched some of the people you talk about, and I mean, sure, they're kind of not really hateful. They're just like spinning out, but I mean, they got hit by it, so it sucks.
The same one's complaining that Wolfenstein 2 is prejudiced because it's all about killing Nazis.
No, that's not the ones I watch.
Yeah,
I am not a white supremacist. Don't start that shit.
Yeah, Sailor Poland makes the point that the algorithm is automated and it's learning, which that's also scary.
So it's one of those ones where, like, does it pull down their video or does it just pull the ads from it so they can't make money?
It's pull the ads.
Monetizing. You know the right word I'm saying.
Yeah, demonetizing videos, basically. So, I mean, everybody that's already complaining about not making enough money on YouTube is, like, complaining even more, because, I mean, it's a fair point because people, live their lives and, like, have to make mortgages and stuff like that off of it if that's what they've chosen to do. But, like, I've seen a drop in like Let's Play videos because like people are just getting tired of Let's Play videos,
And also, thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah, and Nintendo's pretty terrible with their stuff. They like take over your whole channel if you want to play. They actually make money off of a Nintendo video. They take over all of the revenue of your channel.
Unless you're inside their golden circle.
Yeah, well, yeah, unless you have lawyers that can fight them off, basically.
And I'm sure everyone can afford better lawyers than Nintendo.
Well, yeah.
Sounds like a whole lot of not fun.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There's a whole Angry Joe thing about that, and deservedly so.
Yeah, the part of the problem is there's people that have set up their lives around monetizing through YouTube and have basically made it their full-time job to create content, to draw people in. So when you go and change how that works, you make it so that they're potentially not being able to continue to do YouTube as their job. And we can debate at some other point whether that's a legit job in people's minds or not, but that's what they're doing, and they're reaching out to people and they're getting the clicks and the ad revenue. So when the rules change and you can't support yourself that way anymore, you start looking to other services, or you stop putting that kind of video on there. And you've honestly seen a big change in the way things work. Patreon, that's one of the huge ones, and I see Sailor Poland literally just put that in the chat room as I was thinking it as well, especially in podcasting and their video content. Now it's, if you find value in what I'm doing, come support me on Patreon. And there's a lot of people that have shifted their platforms excuse me, so that they're primarily making their living through Patreon, and then they can distribute through another venue such as YouTube or Twitch or anything else like that. And they don't necessarily have to worry about monetization or partnership as much because their expenses are paid.
Well, now they can just put up YouTube videos as private links that they only share with their Patreon subscribers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the one I watch, they pretty much said, hey, YouTube, you took away all our monetization, but we still get paid through Patreon. So you thought we were offensive before? Fuck you. We're going to be more offensive now.
Part of the problem was, and I don't know enough about this to speak intelligently, so I'm going to talk high level about what it was and say we need to look up online and find out more on that. At one point in time, the way the YouTube advertising was working and the plugins were working was if you promoted your own Patreon with like the clickable links embedded in your video at the end, it was either removing them or lowering you down the search results or something like that. I don't remember the full story. I just remember reading part of it. So there was an instance there where the Patreon side of things wasn't really playing nice with YouTube. And the problem is, like Sailor Poland says, YouTube really is the only game in town for video content, unless you're talking like gaming and stuff like that. You've seen a big shift towards most live Let's Plays and live playing of stuff you see on Twitch now. YouTube gaming, when's the last time we talked about that?
Probably a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can still stream to YouTube gaming, and YouTube's trying to make it relevant, but the thing is, Twitch has Amazon money behind it. They've got all sorts of cool little plugins that work for Twitch. We've had them work on this stream as we put it out on Twitch. It embeds nicely with the Amazon platform. Prime members get bits for free or subscription values so that they can go and subscribe to people as part of their Prime subscription and give those guys money. They've built in a unique kind of crowdfunding process into Twitch already that you don't see with YouTube. So like where Patreon works, that I can throw money to someone to support them, I can go on Twitch and throw bits to channels I like, or throw them a subscribe that costs like $5 a month that actually pays out to them. It's an interesting premise. So for gaming and like internet TV shows like you see here, Twitch is becoming the better place to be than YouTube.
Well, plus Twitch is also the only place I've seen artists do live stuff, coloring comics, drawing comics, inking comics. I've never seen like very little of that on YouTube. People love doing it on Twitch because you have that live chat room that's actually really responsive. And I mean, there's plenty of guys I know that go on Patreon. They say, hey, I'm going to go ink this page. And they post a link to their Patreon followers. They go live on Twitch. Everybody gets the link from Patreon. And they can go do a live service on Twitch and then not have to worry about YouTube.
So the best thing Twitch ever did is, if you're not familiar, originally it was Justin.tv, which then transitioned into Twitch for doing like all this kind of streaming. At one point in time, they kicked everyone off unless they did video gaming stuff. If you didn't do video gaming, you couldn't use Justin.tv or Twitch to broadcast your stuff. One of the best things they did was open it back up. And now you've got people that are doing like cosplay development. You've got people that are doing like programming and visual studio kind of work on there. You've got people playing video games. You've got podcasts and things like that. Twitch has become this big community for, I want to see people do stuff and I want to chime in with it. Like, it's incredible what you see there for podcasters and stuff now, even, is that it's this great platform that works great for video stuff. And remember, go back to when we started this show, we hodgepodged it together by doing like an embedded YouTube video in our own chat room. And now you can go to a service like Twitch or like Mixer, or even YouTube has upgraded to it now, where you can broadcast the video. There's a chat room that works right beside it. You can embed it wherever you need to. Things have really developed in a unique way. It's just, it's kind of negatively impacted those that are doing the I'm going to spend a bunch of time, I'm going to record some stuff, I'm going to do a bunch of special effects, or I'm going to do a bunch of editing and then post my video to the web. There's a much bigger emphasis on live now.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the things that Twitch does with their, like, I don't know, search queries or whatever, or they, like, you can do creative and you have like a subsection for creative, and like all the video games that you play, you can search by video game. Like, I mean, you can kind of search by video game in YouTube, and they've actually taken that from Twitch now, where if I post a video game to YouTube, it'll figure out what game it is and like put a little thing up and be like, see everybody that plays this video game, which kind of what Twitch does. And that's like, I think that's why Twitch is kind of successful, is because they put a lot of things, they made everything kind of easier to find, you know, by game, and not just like, you know, creator or whatever.
By game or by topic, like you were saying, because
Yeah.
there's all sorts of things like creative, and there's cooking and things like that. So you put, like, when we do this show on Twitch, it's either web show or talk show. I can't remember which is the category tag we put on it. So if you went to twitch.tv and you were watching us there, you would see a little link underneath there, and you would click on that web show or talk show, and it would bring up all of the other talk shows that are currently live streaming on the site. So you can find things a lot easier. And like Keith was saying, if we were playing like Jackbox party games like we've done before, it puts a link to Jackbox there. You click that, and it takes you to all the other people playing it, but also gives a link to Amazon where you can go and buy it, because Amazon owns Twitch, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think that was pretty good.
That was kind of a fun conversation. Then.
We did have an actual discussion.
Man, Patreon shook things up, though. I think that's the biggest thing that shook everything up.
Oh yeah.
I like Patreon, but I don't want to go to people and be like, give me money.
Yeah, it's a fine line you walk because people need to think that you're worth the money they spend on that. And you can have different tiers and things for that, but you go and look at some of the big names out there. And I'm killing time as I go and look it up right now. So podcasters, a lot of folks use that, and a lot of people do video shows. Like, for instance, you guys know who Tom Merritt is? You familiar with the name?
It's ringing a bell.
So he's the host of Daily Tech News Show. He's done all sorts of different tech podcasts with Twit in the past. He's associated with the Diamond Club. So right now, if you go on patreon.com, he's got over 5,000 patrons, brings in $20,450 a month using Patreon to pay for his show, to pay for bandwidth, to pay for bringing in guests and stuff like that. It's kind of incredible the way people have set up these tiers and brought people in and then said, hey, if you see value in this, throw me $1 a month or something like that. Or the best way these guys pitch it on one of their shows is if you were going to see me in public and you ran into me in a bar and be like, hey, I really like your content, I want to buy you a beer, why don't you just buy me that beer on Patreon right now? Support my stuff. Buy me a beer on there. It's the same kind of thing. And they've got things like nickel backers on there, which is you pay a nickel a show, which comes out to about $1 a month. They put your name on a website. They give you access to an exclusive RSS feed with stuff behind the scenes. There's incredibly smart ways to set up Patreon feeds to get people interested in providing support. Yeah. That being said, you've got to have a large user base. You can do it with smaller groups and eventually build your way up, I imagine, and this is not me doing a slight, I don't know how a hobby podcaster would successfully do Patreon.
Yeah, see, I think it's got to be about the number, because I know a bunch. I used to back, and I need to go return to as soon as I get my finances fixed. I need to go back to backing a couple of comic book artists that I know on Patreon, and a couple of them, they've got a big following, and so they do lots of stuff. Like Mike Norton, who does the Little Donnie cartoon now that he's done with Battle Pug. He put, I think all of his stuff's still on Patreon. But one of the ones that I was listening to is Comedy Film Nerds. They moved everything off of their main website and went over to Patreon, and they made it to where I think it's the $50 a month tier. You get an ad read on their podcast. So where some of those podcasts that have, 10, 20, 50,000 listeners, they're charging corporations thousands of dollars for an ad read. They just put an ad read spot on their Patreon and said $50 a month. Anybody buys this tier, we'll read a commercial for your whatever during our podcast. And so they've got people buying that.
Yeah, there's some interesting ones. Like I think the guys over at Night Attack, they have 4 slots that aren't always open. They call their 4 horse boys. And that is anytime they're going to do something with the show, if they're going to do pre-show stuff, if they're going to work on putting out a new comedy album or whatever, these guys get an invite so that they can sit in Skype and they can listen to the recording process. They can listen to the behind the scenes stuff and things like that. You can find these unique perks that people want to do, but that's like $20 a show or something like that. So they do 4 shows a month. You're talking $80 a month going to those guys, which is not a small sum.
All right, Willie, that's your new job. Is you need to think of a way we can monetize and Patreon this goddamn podcast.
Oh, Draftsman got it right there.
That we're gonna shave Willie until we get money.
Yeah, that'll work.
I mean, you have a lot of fur, but I don't know if you have that much fur. We're just gonna end up with a bald Willie and no money.
Should I take off my shirt again?
No. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll create value for your viewers, but
well, chat
hey,
room,
if it makes people laugh,
you let us know if that provides value.
Well, like I was supporting the Idle Thumbs guys, and those guys, I think they're a big podcast. I don't know. They moved away from video gaming to like just a general kind of what we do. But they were doing a postcard tier, and they like fucking didn't handle that shit at all. Like I was paying $9 a month and getting like postcards that were all fucked up and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not supporting these guys anymore. And they were giving me an ad-free audio version of their podcast, but they would like delay putting it out because they do a Twitch stream. So you could watch a Twitch stream with the ads before, like a week before the no ad feed came out. And I was just like, yeah, these guys aren't doing it right. Like,
yeah, that's not good. As one of the artists I was backing, he was doing a sketch card a month, and then if you were at the $10 level, you got a print. And so I was getting a sketch card and a print from this artist every single month. And I was like, I don't know how the fuck he's keeping up doing this much artwork. And again, this is someone with a full-time job.
Did he cap any of those tiers? Say, like, you can only have X number of people in this one, similar to what you do on a
I think
Kickstarter?
he hadn't yet because it was just starting. And so, like, the first year I was backing him, there weren't that many followers yet. And so I think he was doing it to help build numbers. So it might have added caps later on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, some people handle it really well, and like those, I got my print and my sketch card from that Patreon on time every month. The payment came out at the same time. Like, you know, it was helpful that they were on the ball with it. Yeah, certain people just don't seem to be able to handle it. Which same problem with Kickstarter. There's people that get all their Kickstarter money and lose their damn mind and then never fulfill. And there's not much you can do about it. Just Patreons every month. So.
I do support some stuff on Patreon right now, and Sailor Poland brought up a good point that I want to touch on as we wrap up this topic, because we hadn't talked a ton about drawbacks. He said the drawback to Patreon is it makes you more beholden to the whims of your followers. Look at the people complaining about Angry Joe when he took a break from making angry reviews. Admittedly, Joe could have handled it better, but the fact is most people subscribed only for the angry reviews, and he has to do them or lose his revenue.
Well, then, yeah, he's not beholden to them, but if they don't like what he's doing, they pull their money.
Yeah, the problem is if you pivot and people don't like it, you have to keep in mind that that could change your financial outlook. And
I don't think that's known that.
I don't think that's necessarily a wrong thing, because people are supporting you for what it is they want to see. But you, as the creator, need to keep in mind that, hey, this is what people are wanting to see. And if you are planning on pivoting, maybe you handle a little better, like, hey, I want to do a little bit different on some of these things. We'll keep doing what it is you guys subscribe for, but we're going to do a little less of that, and we're going to try some of these new things. And if you pitch it the right way, maybe people take it a little better.
Yeah, see, I like it because on a Comedy Film Nerds, they made it to where a couple of their tiers, once they got up to like certain number of thousands of dollars each month, they would add more spoiler alert episodes where they would go see a movie and then do a full review of it and talk about everything. But what they added in was the ability for people paying for those levels to choose which film they had to go see. So there was literally like a point where the fans were trying to push to make one of the comedians go see the Transformers movie because they knew it sucked and they knew he didn't want to see it. And so it was like forced punishment as well. But it was also funny because it's like, I don't want to see this fucking movie, but if you guys pay us enough, we'll go see this fucking movie and then talk about it.
So that's worth it.
Yeah, it made it funny.
You just got to find the right way to interact with people. And I think Patreon has made for an interesting way to find the right way to interact. And you can obviously tell when you do a poor job because you'll see your backer count go down and your monetary value go down in the next month, I think. But
speak with your dollars, people. Speak with your dollars.
I'll be honest. I've been tempted to explore Patreon before. It's just, like I said at the top of this segment, if you're a hobby podcaster, I think it's a tougher sell because I don't want to be in here and be like, hey guys, support us on Patreon because we're going to do such and such and such and such. And if you get like 5 or 10% of your people that do, that's great. But I'm afraid of turning people off by over promoting because I'm afraid I'd have that capability to do so.
Yeah. Like, and then plus you'd have to do all the math of like backer tier shit, like shipping t-shirts and how,
so that's why on Patreon, if you're smart, you stay away from physical rewards as long as you can.
Yeah.
See, if I was going to do something on Patreon, it'd be like set it up so that if you're at this certain tier, you've got access to the pre and post show instead of broadcasting, or instead of keeping the broadcast up that has the pre and post show. I'd put only the video up that's the main show and then put out another RSS feed that has like the pre and post show stuff on it. So that's exclusive to people who either watch live or patrons or something like that. I mean, that's some of the stuff I thought of, because really the only reason I'd want to do it, I'm not one of those people who have this grand plan of I'm going to make tons of money off of podcasting. No, I would love to monetize enough just to pay for expenses in podcasting, just to pay for storage and bandwidth.
Yeah. If we could pay for the storage of the podcast and so it's not costing us money to do it.
Yeah, to maybe put a little extra in there that as it accrues is there for like gear upgrades or something for everyone on the show, something like that. That's how I would look at it.
So you can get.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We can get Willie a mic stand or maybe a piece of tape to cover that blue light.
Willie's got a mic stand.
I have a mic stand. I just like to Bob Barker this shit.
Yeah. He just
Get a
likes
pe-
feeling special.
Put a piece of tape on that blue light, man. It drives me crazy.
I don't care. I'm not getting paid for this, so what do I care?
Fair enough. And there are other people in the past who, instead of having like a Patreon bucket, have had like a donate button on their website, which is, hey, we have a donate button that send us some funds on PayPal that we'll put in our slush fund. And I know back when the Fanboy Buzz used to be up, they actually had a little pay section there, which was, you give us $5, we'll give you a couple of these comics or whatnot, and you'll get access to something. So they did some stuff there where they sold like comics they'd reviewed or things like that on the side that they then put into their gear fund to pay for things. So it's not unheard of. Patreon's just kind of made an interesting subscription model for how to do it.
Well,
But I think that is going to wrap up our chat here on Patreon and Kickstarter and
I guess
YouTube and Twitch.
if we needed to give away comics, I guess I have a couple.
Just a few. We could also probably give away Funko Pops on this show too.
Hey now.
Yeah, Bach, you heard it first. Bachman's going to start giving away his collection of villains.
That's right. I'll start giving away Funko Pop. You get one a month at the $5,000 level.
Okay, I will put together a Patreon page if someone wants to donate $5,000 a month.
Hey, you want to give us $5,000 a month? Every month I will send them a Funko Pop.
I mean, we're splitting this. You ain't getting all of it.
Oh no, it's all mine. I get all the money.
All right, Chris, don't do this.
I'm not going to do it. So,
Okay,
guys,
I'll give Chris the money to pay for the server fees, and then I get the rest.
yeah, there you go. So, looking at the time, we are about to start wrapping things up. But as we wrap up, we do like to remind folks that the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast is, in fact, part of a network of shows that you can find over at GonnaGeek.com. There's 20 plus shows on the network that cover a variety of topics, some like video gaming, some like specific TV shows such as Arrow and The Flash, others that are just geek culture in general. So we do like to try and highlight one specific show each week, give you guys a little bit of taste of something else different on the network and say, hey, maybe you should go check that out. And Willie's going to tell us all about that show.
God damn it, Chris. I want to specify first. Chris put this in for me to read. This is not my own words.
It's not my own words either.
Yeah, but you chose this for me. Today I'm talking about Digital Soup Podcast, episode 45. I'm brown, hairy, and in the woods. I'm scary. What am I?
It's probably their riddle for this week. I haven't listened yet.
From Adobe and huge science discoveries out of Australia to Thor and the Punisher. Join us in the kitchen for an all-new episode of Digital Soup, the most satisfying meal you'll have all week. Back to you, Chris, and fuck you.
What? It's just a riddle.
Man, he always finds a way to make it creepy.
I mean,
No, I'm found to make a way to make it sexy. Hit that button, Chris.
okay.
Hit the button.
We have different definitions of that word.
Week, baby.
Well, I'm going to go throw up, I think.
What?
No, I don't know. We are at the end of the show, though, guys. We are going to start wrapping things up. So if you are familiar with the show, we do wrap up with a little bit called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into so that maybe, just maybe, we can entice you into checking them out as well. So I think it's only fair if we throw it to our guest host first and say, number one, thanks for joining us. And number two, Keith, what are you getting into and what have you been getting into?
Well, the reason why I'm on is to promote the Extra Life. Remember how I said I don't like asking for money? Well, I'm doing a donation drive for children's hospitals. Well, the Extra Life is basically all-day video game marathon where I'm going to stream on my channel and ask for donations. I'm supporting the Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital here in Chicago, but if you know that Extra Life covers basically everywhere, in the world, if you live closer to a streamer that's doing that's doing the Extra Life, I would probably recommend donating to them to help out the children in your areas. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that next week. It's going to start November 3rd and end sometime in the evening, November 4th. And it's going to be a good time. Stop by, say hi on the stream.
Where do people need to go to check it out?
Oh geez, I almost forgot about the most important thing. It's gonna be on my channel, the Clearance VG Rack. I'm gonna have my friend Brian come by. I don't know. I think my parents are coming by this year, which my mom was really animate about that. But and that's pretty much it. Stop by and say hi. And I hope you consider donating to the cause, because it's a good cause.
So we'll also rebroadcast it on the channel we're streaming this from right now, and that's twitch.tv/clearancevg rack, right?
That's correct.
Awesome. What kind of games you guys gonna be playing?
I have no idea. This year's kind of up in the air. I had ideas last year, but this year we're just kind of going by the seat of our pants. We're getting away from the Let's Plays a lot, so I'm going to I'll probably do I have a terrible video game for the Haunted Mansion, if you remember that video game from or if you remember that movie with Eddie Murphy. They have a video game based on that movie.
Is it on the Wii?
No, it's not on the Wii.
Oh, I'm surprised.
I was actually looking for there's a Wii version of the video game. Well, there's a video game for the movie Jumper that I saw on the clearance rack recently for 99 cents, but I think I got to go track that down.
I'm sorry, but that movie is underrated.
I
like that shit on it. It was not that bad of a movie.
Yeah.
The director's really good.
Sure.
I.e., he's the same guy doing episode 8, if I recall correctly.
Really?
Yep.
Come on, it's Sam Jackson hunting down fucking Darth Vader, trying to kill him.
I mean,
cool.
I thought it was they used it pretty interestingly, and it was a fun movie. I don't know what people hated it so much.
Because it was the pile on during the every youth adult book series needs. So that's why a lot of people.
Is it based on a book?
Yeah, because it's a series of like 5 or 6 books.
Yeah, you kind of felt that at the end, where it's like a whole mystery about his mom just shoveled in at the very end. I was like, oh, okay, and you're not gonna explain it. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people talk trash about it, is because it was that whole after Harry Potter, let's make every young adult book series into a movie series.
Yeah. Well, there's a video game for 99 cents at GameStop right now that might have my name on it.
Well,
but
that would be fun to watch.
Yeah. What I'm getting into, I'm doing a lot of creative streams. I'm going to more creative stuff, doing a design on like a stream. That seems really fun. And I just saw a video series on the Game Theorist did a video for this weird Let's Play series called Petscop, which I would encourage you to watch, because it's got this mysterious thing with like a backstory, like a really creepy backstory. I'm not going to say anything about it, but it really kind of pushes the boundaries of like what a Let's Play could be, So that'd be the Game Theorist Petscop. Give it a look. It's interesting. And then that's it for me.
Cool. Sounds like fun, and I'm looking forward to watching some of the streaming next weekend. I'll be poking my head in from time to time.
That's cool. Thanks for stopping by. I know you enjoyed Sneak King last year, but I'm not going to do Sneak King again.
That game is so damn creepy. That's the thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's what makes it so much fun to me.
Idea.
For those that aren't aware, that's
how come
the
they
game.
have made a horror movie of Sneak King?
Oh, don't give them ideas.
I think kind of like The Strangers or something, where the king breaks into your house, or Hush. There we go.
I'm pretty sure they did a horror movie and they cut it up into bite-sized chunks and played them as commercials.
Yeah, probably.
Burger King is insane.
Yeah, probably. So I'll go next with my stuff that I've been getting into real quick. Super Mario Odyssey came out on Friday. I've gotten to play. I've played about 3 hours of the game right now, so I'm not very far in, but it's actually really fun. I haven't played a Mario game in a while, though, so I'm rusty and I'm terrible at my timed jumps. But one of the coolest things in Mario Odyssey is there's some levels where you go from going to 3D down to like 2D old school Mario, and I've kind of enjoyed that. Other stuff I've been getting into, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. I am almost done with the game. I have really enjoyed the game. It plays out like just a giant long episode of South Park, and it's hilarious. They did change the combat from Stick of Truth, though. Now it's almost like Final Fantasy Tactics-esque combat, which I tend to enjoy a little bit more than the combat we had in Stick of Truth. Well, let's see. What else? Finished Master of None. Wrapped up Season 2 of that yesterday. And I am 6 episodes into the American Vandal mockumentary on Netflix. And it is still absolutely hilarious based off of how straight they play it at times. So go check that out if you're looking for a funny mockumentary, but not funny because of comedy necessarily, but because of how they play it up in the subject matter. For those that aren't familiar, it's basically they're trying to figure out who drew 27 dicks on the cars in the teacher's parking lot.
Why is there so many dicks?
Hashtag who drew the dicks. And yes, Sailor Poland. In Sailor Poland in South Park: The Fractured Butthole, I have gotten Cartman dressed as Bill Belichick blasting me for cheating. I totally went and tried it again with a new save just to see how it happened. And yes, if you go and put a code into a door before you actually find the answer to that code in Cartman's house, he comes on as Bill Belichick and calls you a cheater. And it's pretty damn funny.
Is he actually wearing like the Patriots outfit and the headset and everything?
Just like when in the episode of South Park where he was basically Bill Belichick.
I really need to get caught up on South Park one of these days.
It's all on Hulu, I think is where it is now.
Did you watch the episode that's the precursor of the game?
Yes, I did.
Good. Oh, you want to have a civil war? Fine, we're going to have a civil war.
It's absolutely hilarious. It plays very well with the superhero tropes and all of that. But that's what I've been getting into. Bachman, how about yourself?
Still drawing every day. I'm past 300 days now, so the end is in sight. This little sketchbook's getting quite full. Like, it's ridiculous. That having done a sketch every day this far into a year, it's the longest I've ever gone, and now there's only 3 more days left of Inktober. So yeah, coming to the end of October, finishing off my my Ricktober month, all Rick and Morty sketches. Caught up on all the superhero shows again. Flash, Lucifer, Inhumans. Finally got that thing to play on frickin' Hulu. My Hulu does not seem to like playing Inhumans. It's like it dislikes it as much as some people. It's not a bad show, but it has definitely gotten better since the premiere. That premiere was awful, but they've fixed a lot of stuff on that show. And yeah, I love the guy that plays Karnak. Like, it's worth watching just for him. And then was just lazy yesterday and basically took the day off and watched Stranger Things Volume 2. Just burned all the way through that, and it is freaking fantastic. No spoilers, but yeah, it gives you basically all the things you wanted to see, and the fact that they do like an 80s Halloween episode with which they showed on the trailer, the kids dressed up as the Ghostbusters. Like, it's fantastic. All the kids that are on the show they just kick ass again for another, I think it's 10 or 11 episodes this time.
9.
Is it 9? But yeah, it's
9.
Fantastic show, super fun to watch. And yeah, it's one of those ones, like, if they do 10 years of that show, I'll be happy. Like, it'll be insane to see where they go with it, just because they've covered so much ground in 2 seasons that I'm kind of really, really interested to see what the Duffer Brothers have planned, if they have like a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. But yeah, that's going to be a good show. And then I was giving Keith crap because the 24-hour gameplay to donate to charity, they picked the wrong day, man. Next Friday is Thor, so I'm going to be at the theater, so I can't be watching.
3rd.
Yeah, November 3rd is Friday, which is
no, the 2nd is Friday.
What?
Wait, no, you're wrong.
I
No,
probably
the
am.
3rd is Friday. I literally just pulled up my
3rd is
calendar.
Friday.
Oh, that's right, because they said it releases the 2nd, which is, I guess, the fucking
Thursday
midnight.
night, yeah, for the people that go the night before.
That's why
Yeah,
I got mixed up.
Yeah, the charity event. They picked the wrong day because a bunch of us got to go to the theater on Friday because I have the day off and I already got my ticket. So I'll be seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Thor on, I think at 3:00 is when I'm going. So yeah, got my ticket for that, and then just trying to finish up this Kickstarter. There's so many covers. I'll finish them eventually.
You are a drawing machine. I would not be able to do that.
Me neither.
A 40-hour day a week. I didn't realize that I should have capped the sketch covers. I really should have, but it's a Kickstarter that's coming in later than folks thought, but it is coming in. I ain't done yet, so I'll keep drawing until they're all fucking finished.
Yeah, you're gonna get your sketchbook because I got my sketchbook.
Yeah, Keith got his, and I think I have Naki's. Hers is sketched but not inked yet.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I've got all the ones in the. If you got the black and white cover, all of those covers have been drawn. They just haven't been inked. I have like 9 of them sitting there ready to ink now, and I've started drawing the Sith level, so they're almost all drawn.
It's like Draftsman says in the chat room. It's cool. Good things are worth waiting for.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, I think Draftsman I haven't finished yet either. So hopefully he'll like his once he gets it.
So Willie, wrap it up for us. What have you been getting into, sir, and what you planning on getting into?
I don't use condoms.
Well, there's some insight on Willie Nelson, everyone.
he's getting into some sort of STD. That's what.
No.
He's getting into it. Burns when I pee.
There's cures for everything now.
Not the heavy.
Supposedly aging is going to be a thing in the past. Oh, jeez.
There's a cure for that if you got enough money.
Yeah,
It's called
inject
money.
yourself
South Park
with
taught us
cash.
that.
Inject cash directly in your veins.
Straight
yes.
cash, homie.
What have I also watched all of Stranger Things. I did that all Friday though. I have started playing. I got into the beta of a VR game called Rec Room. It is actually pretty damn awesome, I would have to say. There's so many different games to play. I've only had a chance to play a couple. The paintball is awesome. It's a little weird at first to move because you have to teleport. You have to push the move button to aim where you want to teleport to, and you're instantly there, and you're just shooting everybody. It's awesome. I've also played disc golf. I wish it doesn't. It's not like you're playing because you can't curve it like you would in life, or it's a little weird. It's a little getting used to. You just have to get used to the controls, and you're a-okay. And they have so many more modes I haven't even got to try yet. Which hell, this is my first Sunday off in a while. So after the show, I'll probably be playing some Rec Room.
You should stream it on Twitch.
He should probably go read the NDA he signed before he streams anything or talks about a game that's in beta that he doesn't know if he's even allowed to talk about.
If it's an open beta, you're allowed to.
No, it's not open. I had to sign, but
then
I
you're
think everyone signs up for is in it. So I don't think it matters. Hey, your game's awesome. Do something about it.
It sounds like Wii Sports for VR.
I mean, the other ones are like charades. I don't know how you can do that when all you can really do with your hands is squeeze. Nope. The awesome thing is though, if you want to become friends with somebody on their network thing, all you do is put your hand out and you shake their hand.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh,
and
that's really cool.
And to join up with their party, you press the button to close your fist and you fist bump them.
That's really cool.
I know, that's awesome.
And get into a private party, you jerk them off.
No. You have to do it with a double Dutch rudder.
To defriend them, you flick them in the nuts.
Do you know what a Dutch rudder is?
Yes, we know what a Dutch rudder is, Willie.
Do you know, Bachman?
I was a sailor.
So then you know what a double Dutch rudder is.
Yep.
I mean, we saw Zach and Miri make a porno.
That was from that? I've only watched it the one time, and I was like, this movie's meh.
I love that movie.
I didn't like it so much.
Star Wars.
But since we are talking about movies, I do want to take this moment right quick, like to tell you about a movie I fucking hated. Have you ever seen Law Abiding Citizen?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I know you have. Yeah.
I own it.
Fuck that piece of shit movie. It is the worst fucking movie I think I've ever seen.
Oh, there are so many worse movies than that. There are so many Gerard Butler movies worse than that one.
That was Gerard Butler?
Yeah, it's Gerard Butler.
I thought, okay, yeah. So the whole movie, like, he's trying to kill people, but then you find out he's doing it like he's killing the bad people. But the whole movie, even after you find that out, they're trying to put him up as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding? No, he's the good guy. What? To the end, he's like, no, he's the fucking worst piece of shit ever. No, he's the good guy. Fuck you, fucking movie. Trying to force feed me that bullshit.
Tell us how you really
Draw
feel.
Lives Matter.
Oh, Jesus.
Didn't his recent movie crash in the box office? What is that? The
He had a recent movie?
Geostorm.
Geostorm? That looks like
It's still-
such shit.
It's still in the theaters.
and
Yeah,
they-
it just came out, didn't it?
Yeah, like last weekend or this weekend,
I
maybe.
think it was last weekend.
yeah, I saw some article about how they're like, oh man,
Yeah, let's see. 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, 1.5 out of 4 by Roger Ebert. Yeah, it's not doing well.
Roger Ebert's website, he's a little dead.
And I would also like to mention I am still killing it in the Fantasy Movie League. I have not been talking about it because when Bachman does well, he's all about saying some shit talking. I've been keeping
season
quiet.
sucks since week 3.
I've been staying in the lead for the past, I don't even know how many weeks. And I have a good cushy lead right now. I think so. Yeah, the next closest person is 21 million away. I think I'm going to take this all the way to the end.
How many Thors are in your box office next weekend?
You can't choose it yet.
Yeah,
And
we
probably
can't.
you'll probably do them by day too. Probably Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, and Sunday viewing.
I need
Oh
to
yeah,
get into
Thor
that.
will get broken up for sure.
So will Justice League later, I'm sure, as well.
Yep. Yeah, this week it's been about Saw and picking the right number of Saws
Oh,
because Saw's done fairly well.
and as we wrap things up, if you're one of those assholes on Twitter who takes the Marvel versus DC war so seriously that you have to go and tweet spoilers to people about Thor Ragnarok, go fuck yourself.
What the fuck?
There's
There's
some
people
people that,
actually tweeting spoilers already.
there's some people that take this war so hard that they're so pissed because people don't like the other ones that they go and just tweet spoilers to people or toss them in on Twitter threads when people are talking about something. And if someone does a comparison to a movie they like, they toss in a spoiler right now.
So you're saying the DC fanboys are going and paying and watching the movie, and then
They don't necessarily have to go and watch it to know the spoilers. I mean,
That's true.
So,
they can learn the spoilers
if
online.
you want to be
You
careful,
get what I'm saying.
the one that I've already blocked on Twitter because they were notorious for it is at Queen Mira 92. Go ahead and block them because they have become notorious if you talk about Marvel and DC movies for just tossing in comments on random threads that are spoilers because they're so butthurt over people not liking their chosen property. It's ridiculous. Just enjoy the movies, guys. Don't be an asshole about it.
Oh,
That
there's
is
one spoiler I
ridiculous.
can tell you about Thor Ragnarok. Hulk's in it,
You did it.
Oh my
Pretty sure
god.
that doesn't count as a spoiler.
and he talks.
Make sure you block at South Porky from your lives now.
Damn right.
Hey,
See, I don't think I
hey.
follow anybody that does spoilers because if I did, I would just instantly unfollow them.
I don't follow them, but the way they're doing it is if you're talking to someone about it and they'll just see the conversation, they'll then just add a tweet to it so it
They
shows up
hop
in your
in.
mentions.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
my god! I had a
Yeah.
friend of mine on Facebook.
if that
I'm not
happened, I
even-
would block the fuck out of somebody. That's
I'm not
awful.
I'm not even sure how I'm friends with him. But while Game of Thrones was still going on, I think it was only like 4 episodes in, or maybe 5. He threw up what I thought was a spoiler because there was right after that HBO thing got leaked. The whole whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
And he said, and he goes, well, R.I.P. Jon Snow tonight. I was like, what the fuck? You gotta be
Well,
fucking kidding me.
In all fairness, Jon Snow dies in the books, right?
Well, technically he already did die in the show, but he
Well,
got
then it's not a spoiler.
resurrected. But he got resurrected.
I'm saying anything that happens in the book 10 years before
Spoiler.
the show comes out doesn't count as a
No,
spoiler.
no. Well, I'm saying he already died in an earlier episode, but he got resurrected. Like I think in the same episode or the next season. Like it was like the ender of this season. Or
Oh,
something
so
like
this
that, and
was
he got
the second time he died and came back?
No, he didn't. No, that was the whole thing. He didn't. Well, I mean, fuck you if you haven't watched it yet.
It was a
Spoiler.
fake spoiler. They were saying that he died again.
Yeah, it was like I was like, and he in his comments he was like, "Man, fuck you. I'll spoil what I want to." I was like, "You're a piece of shit."
Yeah, that's a dick move.
Like, fine, just unfollow me then. Like, no, why are you being a dick? I want to know why you feel the need to be a
It's a-
fucking piece
It's
of
a
shit.
person on the internet. People will
Yeah.
be a dick. Let's just leave it at that.
Nope. Sadly, it's
They all
people's
can be 8
only
inches
goal
like
in
me.
life.
Well, guys, looking at the time, we do need to start wrapping things up. A friendly reminder that we do stream live every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over on our homepage, geeks.live. It's the streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. And hey, if you're there today, you should hang around because in 15 minutes, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be broadcasting. Then at 6 p.m. tonight, the Starling Tribune talking about the most recent episode of Arrow. And then finally at 9 p.m. tonight, Pop Xcast. It is a full night for streaming over on geeks.live. So any final thoughts from you guys as we wrap things up?
Oh, I'll wait till you start the music.
Of course you will.
Extra Life, November 3rd to the 4th. Clearance VG Rec at Twitch.
Do what he says, or I'll come to your house and smack the shit out of you.
Watch it and donate to somebody close to you.
That's right. Willie's going to smack the shit out of you if you don't watch. So on that note, we're going to
I'll make all that Jay and Silent Bob money, how they did that, and they went to everyone's house and just punched them.
Yeah. On that note, we're out. Bye, guys.
Remember, that's 8 inches of unwrappedness that probably will pull out.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGNpodcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.